My name is Sara Nourizadeh, and I'm a Welsh-Iranian filmmaker. "15 years ago, I met an extraordinary woman, Marjaneh Halati, or Marjie, as she's known to her friends. Marjie is an Iranian-born psychologist and charity worker who has devoted her life to helping marginalised young women and refugees. The more I got to know Marjie, the more I felt her story needed to be told. And I discovered we had something in common. We'd both spent our childhoods in Wales. Almost 15 years after our first meeting, Marjie has finally agreed to let me film her story and follow her work with young women and refugees. From her home in London to the streets of Turkey, I want to see close up what drives Marjie and the toll her work takes on her.
For me, the root of everything is in Wales. It's where I was sent as a child to boarding school. I can still feel that grief of this little girl who was about to leave everything she has ever known. And it couldn't have been more different than where I came from, Iran, of pre-revolution. So this sense of the unknown, fear, what's going to happen to me? Am I abandoned? Overnight, that child's life was turned upside down. You disintegrate, and then you have to build from the ashes. Everybody's life is a journey of something they're trying to heal within themselves. And in my case, this is my story. I am a psychologist and a psychotherapist studying different theories of dealing with trauma and how I can advance the plight of young women. I don't fit the mental image of a charity person. I am who I am. I dress as I want. I will not abide by the rules of others, which is exactly what I'm teaching. I set up an organization which I called OMID, which means hope in Farsi, to help the most marginalized and the most abused adolescent girls in Iran. So what are the provisions for women in Iran? None, absolutely none. There are no shelters for battered wives because there's no such a thing as a battered wife. It's sanctioned. It's just happened that they're born into poverty. Doesn't take away from what their needs are as youth and as women. And I think their needs are exactly as mine were when I was their age. And I came from privilege. I imagine that I have daughters, and what would I want for my daughters? Giving them a platform from which they can fly.
Over the next decade, as Iran grew increasingly conservative, women faced greater oppression. Charities like Marjie's came under threat as the regime targeted organisations supporting women and youth, leading to mass protests and violent clashes with the government.
I was in London due to go back to Iran, and then they raided the place, kicked the girls out, confiscated everything.
Without warning or legitimate reason, the authorities shut down OMID. Overnight, Marjie's charity, her life's work, was gone.
I was devastated, heartbroken on many levels. I mean, OMID was my baby, so it was like losing your child that you built one step at a time. So I can't go back to Iran, and I am outraged because I'm an Iranian and it is my land. I don't care who rules it. They're not barring me. I can go back, except that I would end up in prison.
After Marjie's effective exile from Iran, when her charity was shut down and her staff imprisoned, she could have given up. She'd done enough, helped enough. But that just isn't who Marjie is.
Inside of Iran, since the authorities closed OMID, I still work with young women and more recently with refugees who can go back to their home countries. I do this work from my home in London, but also travel to where the work takes me. And we are working with a young girl and boy, Ali and Zari, their sister and brother. And I have never met them in person. Their father was killed in Afghanistan by the Taliban. And they lost their mom when they were fleeing the country.
The Taliban has been in Afghanistan for nearly 2 decades, forcing many to flee. Zari and Ali crossed the border into Iran in 2011, and people continue to escape in their thousands. After 9 years in Iran, they had to leave once again.
So they tried to cross the border to Turkey from Iran, and there was a shooting at the border. So the family got separated.
The journey was extremely dangerous for Ali and Zari, as Turkey was intensifying its crackdown on border crossings from Iran.
So before they knew it, Ali and Zari were in Turkey. They lost everyone else. It was just 2 little kids, a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old. Can you imagine? And one day she just contacted me and she was sobbing on the phone. And she said, I don't want anything. I just want somebody to hear me. And that's how our relationship started. Zari, آره نمیبینمت.
Ali is so depressed right now. Last year, he was so energetic and happy. I don't know why he's sad and depressed right now.
They're 2 really young kids. There's no one to nourish their souls. It just breaks my heart. He was so sociable, outgoing, had lots of friends. He even fancied a girl. And he was playing football. It was his passion. And suddenly there was this change.
Marjie immediately springs into action and connects with a colleague on the ground in Turkey.
I talked to Zari earlier, and she said that, he doesn't even come out of the room to eat anymore. This situation is getting really out of hand. So I'm gonna look for a flight. I'm gonna see if I can get on that flight tomorrow. And most importantly, we're not gonna let them know we are going. We need to know what the state of their life, home, food, everything is without them knowing we're arriving. Now it's pretty serious to my mind because, things have been just slowly going from bad to worse. So he initially stopped going to his online classes. Then he stopped going out. He hasn't been out for almost a year. Never, not once. I have a friend and a colleague who is based in Turkey. She said, I believe that if anybody can get him out of this catatonic state, it's you. If this continues, he might either take his life or something dreadful. There's no room to maneuver anymore because I think we lose him if we don't. همین الان علی من مرجانم پاشو
خبر؟
خب اومدم تو رو بکشونم بیرون پاشو
یعنی همون نرفتم
بدو بریم همون
نه دیروز فریروز رفت
همین الان باید بریم باشه بریم همون کاما لیتس گو چراغای خونه چرا خاموشه چراغای روشن کن مثل قبره 12 ساعت الان هواپیما آدم فقط به خاطر تو برای همین ولت نمیخوره نمیامه بریم اول همون ها بریم همون خودت برو بیا من اینجا بی خود نمیخوای برو ببینم مگه من تو رو ول میکنم برو بیا ها
حال ندارم
بیا بعد ببریم بیا خودتون روست نکن ببین علی
خونه هر کاری بگین انجام میدم
خیلی خب پس برو من اینجا نشستم تا تو بری گفتی برم همون دیگه برو من اینجا میشینم تا تو بیا بدو He says there is no way he is willing to come out. He'll do anything in the house but not outside. خب there's nothing here. I can't take the smell. It's killing me. زری پس چی میخوری تو؟
من همیشه آخر وقت خلیط میکنم غذا میکنم
الان پس چی خوردی امروز؟ بیا برای من تعریف کن. خب اینطوری که زندگی میکنی که دیپرسینگه. دیپرس نمیشه. واکنم؟ دلت نمیگیره؟ هوا عالیه.
زمانی که خیلی سر حالم خیلی وقت برم مونه زمانی که خورده مودم پایینه.
الان مودت پایینه؟
آره.
چرا؟ ها؟
نمیدونم اگه علی شاختر بود خیلی وضعیت
با هم اصلا حرف صدایی دار؟
اصلا نمیخوام مرتب بدونم من کلا آدم زیاد همه چی مثلا مرتب و ترجمهش باشه نیستم کنم تو خودم هم هست ولی وقتی که علی رو میبینم
چرا خونه نمیاد بیرون؟ اوکی الان همین الان تا علی بره که بعد من میخوام بشینم هر روز بیام تو رو ببینم اول میز رو جمع میکنیم اینجا رو جمع و جور میکنیم مدلی که باید از این به بعد باشه خب؟ How you live and the atmosphere of your house has a lot to do with your state of mind. So if you live somewhere where you eat and throw things on the floor, it means you have no respect for your space. And that by itself is an indication of how worthless you feel. So you might as well shit on the floor, you know. نمیای پای زوم نمیای پای تلفن ولی من تو نیا من میام یه بوسم بده یکی دیگه
من
میدونی من
پسر قشنگم دوستت دارم. تو به من محل نذار ولی من که وا نمیدم. یه پسر دارم تو دنیا اونم وا بدم امکان نداره.
I'm going food shopping. And also to take a few nice long breaths. He's crying, you know. Did you see that? He said, I don't want to breathe anymore. And he also said, my brain is kind of foggy. I can't learn things now, which is typical of trauma brain. So there's a lot there to be processed. And what I'm trying to achieve, which is to get him out of his shell. I want him to understand without using words that there is someone out there who actually cares about you, that I'm willing to come and sit by you. I'm sure he will ignore me and push me away, at least initially, but I'm going to persevere.
She cleaned everything. Look, it's a different fridge. همین تو کلک زدم به تو. کلک بوس منو بده. خیلی دوستتون دارم.
Zari left Afghanistan when she was just 8 years old, forced to flee when the Taliban took over.
When I child, we left Afghanistan and we came to Iran. And 4 years ago, we left Iran and came here. We came with a car to near to border between Turkey and Iran, and after that walking from mountain because border police maybe see you. We came, but my sister and brother, my mom can't came. They can't came, and I and Ali can. When I came to Turkey, life is so bad and so hard.
Even in just a few days, I can already see the remarkable impact Marjie is having on Ali and Zari.
زری بیا بعدم کار داریم خانم. جشن.
Despite all the obstacles, Zari has graduated from high school, which is fantastic. And she's been studying very hard because she wants to go to university.
And tonight we are celebrating. So we're going shopping for tonight's party. But
the idea for me was to create a memory in that dark house by cooking for them so that there's a smell of freshly cooked meal, buying a few flowers. They might be small, but to me they're big given the context.
I'm dancing to my love.
And when I met them, I learned that nobody had ever hugged them. And you don't have to be a psychologist or even work with trauma I mean, this is just normal human need. Everyone needs it. And nobody gives it when you're a refugee. And when you're so young and you're scared, that's why it was that chaos the first time I saw the house. And that's why the hugging was an important part of connecting with them. He knows and she knows now there is one person who I can pick up the phone and call. It's a beginning, step one of a journey. I can't save everyone. Nobody can. But I knew I could help Zari and Ali, and the best I can do is at least try. تو رو سپردم به دست این، اونم سپردم به دست تو. فهمیدی؟ اینو بسپرم به این، دیگه اونم
اخبارت بیا بیرون علی ها.
دلم تنگ میشه برای رفوجی‌ها. The idea of having kids was not, I didn't want to. And I know, and I knew that if I had kids, because they were my genes, and it was a choice, and I had brought this being into this world, that I would put my everything into them, him or her. And then when you really stop to think, what a waste of resources and love to be only given to one or two or three. If I have it, why not give it to those who already are here and perhaps rejected, unwanted? I have never, for an instant even, regretted not having any kids.
I wanted to dig a bit deeper into Marjie's own childhood. How did growing up between two worlds shape the work she does today? Was leaving Iran for Wales more than just a move? Did it redefine her sense of identity, pushing her to explore what was lost? And what is it that still drives her now? Together, we visited Bodo Withen Castle, where Marjie was sent to boarding school at the age of 11. The school has long since closed its doors, and these days it's a 4-star hotel.
Do you guys have lighters and stuff? I quit smoking, but I went to boarding school here, you know? That's why I'm beginning to smoke and drink again. I'm dealing with my trauma. Thank you. I am smoking because I'm stressed. I want to take a picture to traumatize my sister.
Yes, I remember that you were just always crying, always crying, not non-stop.
We were so young. It was like being abandoned in the middle of the desert.
I look at it now from the adult perspective, and she was lost. Where am I? She had no power of analysis to begin with. And I have pondered on it in therapy. I've talked about it. The minute you don't have the option and you feel helpless and powerless, that causes trauma. It's not the event. It is your experience of the event. It marked me for the rest of my life because I was voiceless. Here's the dining room. I remember it was mealtime and I was watching the news. I could see the troubles happening in Iran.
Vast poverty and oppression results in a mass uprising against the Shah's regime to establish an independent Islamic republic.
The lady serving me asked why I was crying. I was saying the trouble at home.
Millions pour into the streets and demand justice and righteousness. Many cry, "We will kill those who killed our brothers."
I don't think I even realized what it means to have a revolution. I mean, why would I? I've never experienced one. But the pictures of the troubles were troubling and scary. It didn't cross my mind that Iran would ever change.
After the revolution and the Shah's overthrow, the new regime enforced strict media control, gender segregation, and mandatory headscarves. Overnight, Marjie's more liberal Iran disappeared. Her parents, visiting London at the time, never returned, leaving their lives in Iran forever.
That was it. We never saw our country or home again as it was when we left it.
Before Wales, Iran was a sanctuary for us. There was never even a thought that we would never go back. And after the revolution took place, for us, it was a different life altogether. We were like orphans there.
Yeah.
And we still had each other. I mean, a lot of everybody else was just on their own. I mean, I have attachment issues, major ones, and that's because of that. And it's really affected my life negatively because I've never taken a lot of challenges to do different things because I just want stability and I don't want any changes.
But, there was no one ever, when your kids cry, you hold them and...
Oh, none of that.
So it's like you're desperate to be held and nourished, soul-wise, and there's nothing.
I think the Wales experience didn't change Marjie. It gave her a lot of resilience. Also, she learned about her own mind, more importantly.
And then I went on a hunger strike. I refused to eat. I was hoping to achieve being released from this place, but it might have been the only act of defiance to keep at least some form of control over what's happening. Knowing what I know about trauma, the sense of helplessness, the hunger strike was taking ownership and agency. I have to also admit that I did sneak a number of cookies at night when I was on my hunger strike. As an adult, I realized that I felt resilient enough to take an action which was impactful. I think she was actually quite a smart little girl. She wasn't gonna take it lying down, Because I know my parents came from a very good place, they thought they were doing a favor for their kids because it also came at a monumental financial cost to my father. They were doing their best. How can you not forgive? My experience of boarding school has shaped me today, and I turned my trauma in what they call post-traumatic growth. So I used that and the rage of that sense of voicelessness, and I turned it into the fire that fuels the work that I do. My life has been a quest of finding that little girl's voice and to provide that platform for others. When you have a voice, you have a choice. When you have a voice, you don't feel powerless. With Ali and Zari, yes, they didn't have what I had before, but they still had the familiar. As bad as it was familiar. And then they find themselves as I did in a foreign land, I had the stability at some point. They had no stability at any point. The boarding school for me was like exile. They were in exile too. And like me, they didn't speak a word of the language. But unlike me, there were no parents. They had no one.
1 year after my last visit, I returned to Mersin with Marjie to check in on Ali and Zari's progress.
So over the last year, my colleagues and I have been working closely with Ali and Zari. They've been attending online classes. They both have been doing coaching, which has really helped them a lot. I visit them every couple of months. And every time I go back, I'm just amazed at the incredible changes. You know, Ali hasn't been to school for 4 years now. So now he's consented to going to school. He's smiling all the time. He is socializing, he comes out to eat. I mean, this is the guy who would refuse to leave the house under any circumstance. And I can't believe it's the same guy that I met last year. Zari was in a different place. It's quite a different growth. She's much more studious, which makes sense because she's calmer. But she's always been very scared of people her own age. She didn't have any friends.
Somebody asked me why you are so quiet. You don't speak. I don't say anything, but I feel different. Every time I scared.
For Ali and Zari, it was a loss of childhood. Another anxiety-provoking aspect is the experience of being a refugee, because it's one of rejection by the people of that country where they're refugees. It's not just about the hardship of life. It is constantly facing racism and prejudice.
Sometimes they are laughing about us. You are Afghan, you should go your country. Your eyes didn't look at our eyes. You are different.
We don't have ID card, so we can't do anything. I can't go another city. I can't go to another country.
Being a refugee, it's hard because you cannot get a job. It means you are lonely. You don't have someone.
Come sit down. We need to discuss what's going to happen now. There's a letter saying that you need to take your passport pictures for your UN application. You know, you arrive in a country, you have to go and register with the UN, and then you don't have a say in anything. You're just gonna have to wait. And then you receive an interview appointment like the kids have. So the people who interviewed you will write a report and then they submit it to the center where different countries look at applications. Then they will give it to you, the options, or maybe there won't be an option. It's not gonna happen tomorrow. Might not happen next month. It might not even happen next year. But it's the next step to the process. This is a long process, as you know. For all I know, it might take 2 years or 3 years. I know of people who've been waiting for 6 years for a country to pick them, and it hasn't happened yet. Can you imagine? This is a state of limbo 24/7, and it might go on for years.
I want to study law about human rights. I want to be a lawyer because I want to help refugees. I will go to the Istanbul for exam for university, but for the first time in my life, I go to the airport.
She's going in about 10 days. And it causes so much anxiety in her. She's just going over and over it in her head about plane crashes, feeling sick. What am I gonna do when I get to Istanbul? What if somebody doesn't pick me up? But when she's really in the grips of that fear, it's no different from the anxiety and fear when they were making that journey from Iran to Turkey. But she forgets that she survived that. And not only survived, but she really did it well. And this is an indication how fear lives in us illogically, but we can break that cycle. So I'm going to take you through the steps of what you need to do until you get to the airport and on the plane, okay? تو وقتی میری چکینگ یعنی اون میره تو کامپیوتر میزنه که زری اومده. خب when they say we are boarding, that means you're gonna get on the plane. Just before the plane takes off, they come and check to make sure that you have your belt on, okay? Because you have to have it on. Because you're a scary cat, leave your belt on.
چند درصد ممکنه که سقوط کنی؟
تقریبا نیست امکان. There are times when because of wind چون باد میاد the plane will shake, okay?
من همونجا قش میکنم.
No, don't be scared. It's the first time. Don't be scared. You're gonna get used to it. But you'll see, you know what?
غلطی کردم
But you know what you should do? Look at every time there is a shake. If you look at the hostesses, the mehmundara nagah kon, you'll see they're so relaxed because they know it's nothing. The worst case scenario out of this is that the application is rejected or refused. And then the question is, where are they gonna go? Inside. So you put your clothes here. Normally, they send you back to the place that you entered. For Zari, if she ever had to go back to Afghanistan, with Taliban being there right now, that's the end of Zari. Okay? And for Ali, what's he gonna do there?
When I was 7, my dreams, I like to be a football player. 2 years ago, I played football. After that, I was mentally sick and I don't go anywhere. I don't want to play anything. It's sad, actually, and I don't want to do anything. I just sleep. just not about football, about everything. And I feel I'm very weak. I thought it's too late because you are not playing 2 years. When you was 8, 9, 10, it's very better than 15 to start it. Think about it, what can I do right now? I'd like to be a coach who helps children.
My hope for Ali is for him to become who he wants to be, based on his talents. But you have to put the work in, you have to study. Education is the key to the rest of your life, okay? On many, many, many different levels, especially for you, especially for Ali, for all of us, but especially because of your experiences. One, it's the road to financial independence, and especially as a woman, okay? Two, it's about widening your horizon, because education is not about that study, it's about learning how to think critically. Three, because of your own experiences as refugee, it's the best way of saying, look where I am now, look at me. And you can be a role model for women or young girls who've been in your position.
مثلا شما الان رول مدل من هستین الگو. روزی که امتحان دادم و اصلا مهم نیست نتیجهش چی باشه، من به شما زنگ میزنم تصویری و میگم خبرشو. So I want to see something to Marjaneh in person. فقط به انگلیسی نمیتونم توضیحش بدم قشنگ، ولی منظورم اینه که فقط مرسی که تو دنیا هستین و مرسی که ما رو درک کردین و با کارهای شما، با وجود شما، ما اون دردا رو کمتر احساس میکنیم و این باعث میشه که من برای آیندم، برای درسم انرژی بگیرم و امید داشته باشم، چون که اگه الان کسی به من این امید رو نده مثل شما، من اصلا به آینده حتی امیدوار نیستم، چون فکر میکنم با حرفاتون، با وجودتون باعث میشه که من رو آیندم فوکوس کنم. مرسی که هست.
Marjie helped me to believe myself. It's okay, you are a refugee, but you're working hard and you do your best. The most important thing she teach me loves, actually. When you love someone, it's best help. I love her. Yeah, a lot.
As time will go on, they will need me less and less, which is a fantastic thing. And I want to make clear that I will not support them for the rest of their lives. I will love them for the rest of their lives, but you're gonna have to make it on your own. No doubt about that. It's the learning process that's important. At the end of each obstacle, negative ending, what lesson do you take away from it? That's the essence of growth. I want them to fly as high as they can and not need me, but know that I'm there. And I know that they will.
ما الان جلوی حوزه امتحان منتظر ورود هستیم که به ما اجازه ورود بده بریم داخل. الان دیگه استرسم به مرحله دیگه رسیده که سر شدم. استرس اینا کلا استرس دارم ولی خیلی نامفهومه. من میخوام برم تا اونجا که میتونم.
Ali is having his online classes. He's preparing for a Turkish school. He contacts me and says, I miss you. Can we have a Zoom meeting? So we just talk on Zoom.
سلام مرجی، دلم براتون تنگ شده. 3 روز دیگه تقریبا همدیگر رو میبینیم. I miss you a lot.
So this is the guy who was locked in his cave. And now I have to make an appointment to see him.
Goodbye.
Well, if that's not a miracle, I don't know what is. Ali and Zari are just 2 young teenage refugees. There are countless others around the world who are in exactly or perhaps even worse situation. Of course, we cannot help all of them, but Zari and Ali have hope now because somebody hurt them. And now it's just a period of waiting, this state of limbo, and wondering where they're gonna end up and when.
As of 2023, the United Nations estimated there were around 17 million refugee children across the globe. Marjie can't stem that tide, nor change the world. But for Zari and Ali, she's done something huge. She's given them a shot at a better life. It just goes to show how one determined, stubborn person can really make a difference. Zari has been accepted to a university in Mersin, where she'll study international law. And Ali's back in school too, hoping to return to the football field soon. These might feel like small wins, but for Ali and Zari, they mean everything. The beginning of a future they never thought they'd have.
Her heart and soul and every waking thought is towards what she's doing. It's not a job to her.
There are days that I say, I'm going to stop this tomorrow. Somebody else can do it. I'm willing to support, but I don't want to do the emotional engagement.
And then she, once in a while, she gets really disappointed. I'm not going to do this anymore. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. 3 minutes later, a phone call comes. Like, this kid hasn't eaten in 2 days. There we start again.
And then you look at them, or there's one hug, and then you say, it's worth everything. And my heart melts.